Thank you. So here we go, and I want it to be recorded so that this can be shared later on with all the participants who are available there. So that is one new thing. Two topics which I'm going to include it, and I don't see these topics being discussed in any other sessions at all. So, each one of you is very lucky in that way to know the importance of this particular, I should say, the research methodology workshop. Number 3 that I'm also including absolutely new in this particular series of the lectures for the workshop will be discussing on different kinds of reviews which are available. Now the question arises, why am I including these 3 new topics which you cannot see anywhere else? Now thanks to Ayush again, he has agreed that this is not the first and last workshop for each one of you. He said that after a gap of let's say a few days we can continue, and new topics can be added. So if some of you are planning to continue and learn about the research, the flow of the entire research methodology would be presented. Then quantitative, I should say, research methodology is being discussed all over the world, including India, I should say, and a majority of you are understanding them. However, apart from the quantitative literature, research, I'm also going to focus on the qualitative literature, and we will simultaneously understand whether the approaches that we see in quantitative research as well as qualitative research, are they going to be the same or are they different, or the approaches that we are looking for, the steps, the kind of knowledge that we can get through manually, we can understand doing the coding and everything, or do we have to use the softwares also, is something that I would be discussing, introducing it and giving you the introduction most probably on 3rd or 4th day of our series that we have got. So in that manner, I'm really happy when I designed the entire curriculum for this particular workshop, and it would be shared by the end of the day. I think Ayush or one of the organizers is going to share it via WhatsApp or the email to all of you, the including the PowerPoint presentations which are there with the recording of the video, so that it is there with you, and whenever you feel like, you can watch them, you can learn from the literature also which is available. Given this thing, today's agenda, actually I was late, reason I was giving another session to one of the popular universities at Pakistan on reviews and the popular software called as RevMan, and I thought it was the session, our workshop starts at 6 o'clock. However, now if it has been decided from 5:30 to 7:30, then I'll go ahead and I'll focus it from that time onwards, from tomorrow itself. Otherwise, I really apologize to each one of you who is present over here. Now, given this kind of introduction, let me proceed further and make you all understand that how research begins, number 1. Number 2, why research has to be there in the first place, and what exactly is involved when we are talking about the research. Okay, now to begin with, I'm starting off with the I'm sharing the screen of one of my presentations exclusively on research methodology, and there are 2 presentations, and both of them will be giving you as to what research is and why we should take care of it, in what manner the research is, and carry forward from there, apart from whatever I was discussing. So I hope given that 2 hours of time, we would be able to complete today the topic on what exactly research is. And Ayush, I think disable the participant screen sharing. Can you please allow me to go ahead and share the screen? Okay, thank you. It is
Please make sure.
start your video, it is saying. not the video. Actually, I wanted it on.
Okay, ma'am, I'm making you the host. Ma'am, I'm making you the host. You spot the video.
He's making you the host. Now you can share the screen. He'll make you the host.
Hello, can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am, we can see the screen.
Yes, thank you. Thanks a lot. Now, this is again, first of all, as the topic goes about, and that is on research methodology. And we will understand as to what exactly research is and what exactly takes place in research and find out more about it. Now, the general meaning as quoted by Redman and Murray, they tell us that research is an endeavor to discover answers to intellectual and practical problems through the
Yes, ma'am.
hello. Through
Ma'am, please go ahead. Please
application
go
of
ahead.
scientific
Please go ahead.
method. Ayush, is there some problem?
No, ma'am, please go ahead.
Okay, this is one of the definition, and the other definition is research is the systematic process of collecting and analyzing information, which is the data, and in order to increase our understanding of the phenomenon about which we are concerned or we are interested. And later on, you will see that yes, why it is a systematic process and what exactly is taking place. Now, these are other, I should say, the definitions which are available for us to understand what exactly is research, number one, and how to find the solutions to a problem after a thorough study and analysis of the situational factors on one side. On the other hand, it provides the needed information which also guides. Now, you see, when we are talking about which guides the managers and come up with the important, I should say, predictive decisions so that we are able to resolve their problems and issues and we are successful. So this is the definition of research from the practical aspect also. The information provided could be the result of careful analysis of data which is gathered, and then we are somehow going to use step-by-step process and come up with a resolution for the particular problem that has been highlighted. Now, these are some things that one needs to understand as to what can be the objectives of research. However, before I can proceed with these technicalities, now there is one more one that I'm going to showcase to you about the research methodology itself, wherein we are able to know what exactly research is all about and proceed further with the further step. Now here you can see that the word research, on one side gives you the meaning that yes, there is the word res out here. I can add out here plus sign plus the search. So what does that mean? It means that we, search, we are taking care of it. It is already there in the domain. However, we are trying to, what we call it as, do again that particular search. So what does that mean? Does it mean here? Can it mean once more? Can it mean a fresh search or a new search? We can take care of it. That can be one aspect of it. Or the other part of it is that am I going to rely on the prior something which is available to me, go back in that manner with return to a previous state? So you have to understand that I'm going in the past, do something, and then come back to my current position and somehow get the resolution. So what does that mean? This is the two meanings that we have got for the word re till now that I have checked out. It can somehow be that we can even do some kind of an observation as it is taken care in the scientific field, and come back again to understand certain things. Search means look thoroughly, number one, or it can also mean go over thoroughly to look something. That is another meaning for search. The third meaning would come in as to examine, to find anything concealed and try to highlight them. So you will see that the words which are there in front of us, re and search. Re, I have given you 1, 2, 3 different part of it, and all the three you can use either of them. It means that if when I'm doing the research, I can use the first part, I can use the second part, or I can use the third part. When it comes to search, it can also mean that I can look thoroughly, number one, I can go over thoroughly something and examine. So when I combine these two things together, try to understand that I am able to either use one of these techniques, number one, or what I can do it is I can combine all three of them together and go ahead with my research. Okay, that's what I would like to say in this particular slide of mine. Now when I come to the word research, now even when I was preparing these slides, I thought let me go step by step and showcase. Now this is the Merriam-Webster's definition for the word research, and here it says it is careful or diligent search. Diligent means serious. Okay, now it can also mean studious inquiry or examination when the investigation or experimentation is being taken care of. Here we are also discovering and interpreting the facts or factors that we are going to see later on or gather in some form or the other form. It can also be possible that yes, I am either go ahead, accept the theories which are available to me, or it can be possible that I can criticize the theories which are there, or it is also possible for me to go ahead, combine the theories together to arrive at a new thing which is absolutely innovative for me. So in this way, research is helping me to come up and understand, revise, innovate, create. So all these things also can be possible. Now one more definition that they have focused upon is the practical application of the research itself. Now you see, you can create, you are able to I would say innovate also. You are also able to go ahead, combine the theories on one side. However, when you are presenting what I call it as the empirical investigation, you will see that yes, this is going to be useful for you, wherein you are giving some practical application to what I call it as towards the community or towards the society or towards a company or a business entity. In other words, if your research has really helped you, you are able to give the implications or see to it that yes, you are applying it somewhere and it is being useful to the society. Last but not the least, they have said collecting the information about a particular subject. The subject would be the questions, the research question which is pertaining to me, which has been a very interest area and it has grabbed my attention, and I'm trying to search something into it which is going to lead me somewhere and give me a positive outlook towards the solution. So this are what I have understood from the research, and I'm sharing the same thing with each one of you. Now, this is one of the topic which I was trying to help out one of my scholars based in Malaysia, and this was the topic. Now, Toki CEO wants to launch its company in Malaysia. Now, the moment, why I have chosen this one, not that I cannot give you an example from India. I wanted this particular thing wherein I wanted you to understand what does Toki CEO stands for. Does it mean that CEO can be leadership, number one? Number two, when I have this as the adjective, does it mean that the leader that I'm going to discuss, the leader is highly talkative by nature, number one? Or is it that I'm talking about a company called as Toki, and I'm talking about the leader of this particular, what is it that I'm talking about? The rest of it you are able to see, like wants to launch its company in Malaysia. That is very different kind of a thing. However, for me right now, it is focusing on this particular question, that is Toki CEO. And when this was given to me, I myself started wondering, what does it mean? Does it now see, it's a question mark. Question mark, we all know out here there has to be, who is the Toki CEO who wants to launch its company in Malaysia? Now, you see, the research question itself is not formally made. So if I'm curious about it, am I getting that attention towards this question itself? Shows that yes, I am proceeding further towards the research. Now, this is something which each one of you should understand whenever we talk about research in the first place. Now, apart from that, you will even see, apart from that, now the questions start coming in. He is in a process of decision making, because he's the leader, CEO, he's the highest officer of a company. So there must be some decision making kind of a thing. Then the next thing that comes in front of us is that decision making, what does it require? It requires what I call it as convention. So there should be no doubts about the CEO, the leader, knowledge to justify their decisions. Okay, CEO, what does CEO do? CEO is trying to go ahead and give us certain decisions, and that means that there are certain goals and achievement on one side. So what is it taking place out here? First and foremost, they have not here, research is an organized and systematic way of finding answers to certain questions. And that is the reason why whenever we start off, or even if we are pondering upon something, you should remember that questions are the ones that are necessary. Now, these questions also should highlight that yes, you are curious about something, you are investigating something, you are so much interested that yes, it has given you to the position of raising the questions. Now, once the questions are there, then you start off with the research. Without the questions in front of you, and trust me, today also when I was taking this particular session at this place, the university's vice chancellor was present, and he asked me this question because I divided the entire research into two eras. One wherein you are focusing exclusively on the research questions on one side. On the other side, you're focusing exclusively on research objectives. Now, in majority of the cases, we are focusing on what I call it as research objectives. However, we do not focus upon what we call it as the research questions. So in this particular workshop series, you will be seeing the importance of the research questions, and that is the reason why I wanted to start off my first lecture on what is exactly research. So remember that in research, without the research questions, it is no more important. The rest of it, whether it is organized, whether it is systematic, and we are able to get the answers or not, is something very different. However, the first and foremost is that you have to focus on what we call it as research questions. Now, this is somewhere that I really want to proceed further and take care of it also side by side. The next one that we have got is what I call it as the systematic. And here you will see we know what exactly systematic is all about and taking care. I think I need just a couple of minutes as a break, and I'm just coming to each one of you. Just give me 2 minutes exactly, please. Yeah, thanks a lot for holding, and I'm really sorry there was somebody, and that's why I just had to rush to the door. So in the last slide, we have seen basically that yes, what exactly we meant by research questions, and why the research questions are so much important to us, and how we are able to proceed further. Now, immediately after the research questions, okay, my focus is on systematic. Okay, and we will see in my lecture tomorrow why systematic is something that I have taken up as a second point to be highlighted. Reason there are, I should say, set of procedures and steps which we need to follow, and I cannot jump from one step to another. Though nowadays, which I see usually is that majority of us are not taking care of the, I would say, the research also in a very proper manner. For example, the timeline of, I'm writing it out here for each one of us also. Timeline of research should be that once, number one, there has to be what we call it as research questions. And unless and until I do not take care of my research questions, remember that I cannot proceed further. Even talking about what is research is very different one. Whether you are going to focus through observation or through critical analysis or appraising the prior literature, the thing is that the research questions should be present.
Ma'am,
Hello?
Ma'am, we can't see the presentation slides, right? It shows earlier slides only, right?
Yes,
So
I
you
would
can
be
have a
coming
look.
back. Are you able to see what I'm writing right now?
No, ma'am, we can't see it.
Okay,
We are
okay,
not able
one
to see it.
second. So I think I have to share double time, I think, new share. Okay. Thank you, Ayush. Now, can you see this one, the timeline of research?
Yes, ma'am. Now we can see, yeah.
Okay, now this is again what I was trying to share it with each one of you, that there is a timeline of research and one needs to go step by step. First and foremost is the research questions. Okay, the moment you have kept the research questions which are arising in your mind, immediately you will I would say go ahead with what we call it as empirical observations. Now, when I say empirical observations, it has to be within your own community or the society around you or the world around you, and you need to go ahead and take care of these observations and make a note of it also. Once you have completed with the empirical observations, you need to focus on what I call it as theory building. You need to go, then theoretical, I would say development. You need to develop it completely, and we will see on today is what, Saturday, Sunday, Monday evening I'll be focusing on theoretical building, theoretical development, and what I call it as theoretical testing. Now, this is really very important step, and majority of us are missing on this. And we will see why theoretical building, and from the theoretical building, the development is there for me or not, and how should I test these theories in order to proceed further with my own research work. And you have to understand, and we will see how these things are coming in. Once you have completed with the theoretical building, development, and testing, comes in what I call it as the conceptual model building and development. Okay, plus I'm making it as testing part of it also. These three things are also necessary, because you are being exposed to so many theories and so many concepts, so you will have to understand first and foremost which is the one which is attracting me more. Once you have done these things, okay, I'm drawing this line completely, you will be entering into another stage wherein we call it as introduction to different kinds of reviews. Now here you will be introduced to 42 different varieties of reviews which are there for us, and in 2 hours of time somehow I have to complete it and showcase to you that yes, why these reviews are important for us, and how you can proceed further also. Now let me see if I have, yes, I do have that presentation in front of me, and I can show you immediately, give you the idea as to how many varieties of reviews are present for us and how we can even understand them. Are you able to see this particular slide of mine wherein I'm changing it, Ayush, or do I have to showcase differently?
No, ma'am, we can see it. Now we
You
can
are
see it.
able to see. Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
And here, just give me a moment. Now, under the list of different kind of reviews, you will see that, yes, no, this was the presentation which I was giving to the scholars from the Pakistan today. And that's why this was available to me immediately. Otherwise, I had to search. Just give me one more minute so that I can come up with that particular slide of mine where you will see the kind of references which are, yes, this is the one. Now I have showcased out here exclusively 12 of them. These are the different kind of reviews which I will be introducing to each one of you in on Monday. Systematic reviews, rapid reviews, literature reviews, umbrella reviews, synthetic reviews, critical reviews, mapping reviews, overviews, qualitative systematic reviews, scoping reviews, state of art reviews, systematized reviews, systematic search and reviews, integrative reviews, and narrative reviews. Now, can you see so many varieties of it which are available for us, and how we can use them in our own research also. Now, you will see that once I have given you, the reason is that through the theoretical building and conceptual building, you are somehow able to identify what I call it as variables for your own research work, and we will see what these variables are and how you from the help of empirical observations, research questions, theoretical building, and conceptual modeling, you are able to derive the variables. And before I can even set a stage for the variables, through reviews you are able to see certain things. And with the help of the what I call it as systematic reviews, you would be coming in and understanding what I call it as the relationship between the variables, okay, and their power. Now, if you have understood I'll be explaining to you these things on that particular day also, you will see that somehow you are reaching towards the highest point of your research level again, and you can go ahead with the research and apply those methodologies. However, if you haven't approached till here, doing the research is totally failure, and I would not recommend anybody that yes, you have even started off with the research also. So focusing on all these things and carrying forward with the research is important. So you will see different kinds of reviews, systematic reviews I will be explaining to you, and how these will be helping you to come to the level of what I call it as the variables. Now here, not only the definition of variables, we will see different kind of variables, and under the different kind of variables, trust me, you would be knowing, some of you are already coming from the research methodology, so we always feel that yes, there are only 4 kind of variables only, in the form of nominal or ratio, or it can be ordinal, and the last one also we have got. Now I'm not going to focus only on these 4 variables that I have got. I am also going to focus on what I call it as the antecedent variables, and we have got what I call it as consequent variables, okay, and proxy variables. Now these are the new ones which are available to us, and again most of us, we do not focus on these variables also. I thank my mentor also, who introduced me to the domain of research methodology, and the way he groomed me, and I myself was stubborn, and I started attending his workshops, and being very serious, though I'm not allowed to talk and I'm not allowed to raise many questions, and I was never even identified as a student. Also his student also, he never identifies me, and he does not even allow me to speak also in his workshop, so that my own doubts are clarified. So in that way, I'm blessed that yes, some of my teachers who nurtured me, who allowed me to learn majority of the things. So when I come over to the variables, you will be understanding that yes, apart from the commonly discussed variables, the 4 kind of nominal, ratio, ordinal, integral one, or sometimes I find that they are even talking about other kind of like exogenous and what we call it as the endogenous variables, and we will see that these differences are also coming in. However, your team, I mean the entire group of 12 scholars who are available, including me, I should say that we are very happy that yes, I'll be teaching you and sharing my knowledge on the other variables also, which are very important when it comes to a specific variety of research, and we will see, and we would be focusing on them also side by side. Now, once I complete with the variables, then we will be starting off with much wanted discussion on qualitative research. Again, the entire team is lucky because I'll be focusing more on the quantitative research, research design, sample size, and kind of various approaches which are available to us in qualitative research. Now, some of the schools which I would be focusing upon here would be on phenomenology. Then I would be talking about ethnography. I would be talking about meta ethnography, then focus group. Then I have got critical realism is something that I'll be focusing on. Logical positivism is another one that I'll be focusing on. And you will be seeing that, yes, these schools are very important when we talk about qualitative research. And definitely, yes, I'll be focusing on structuralism and what I call it, okay, you will have to spare me for my quick keying of the word. Structuralism, post-structuralism. Then I would be focusing even on what we call it as logical positivism. I have done interpretivism. Okay, so these are focus group. I have said ethnography, phenomenology. Any other school that I would like to take up? Descriptivism. Yes, I cannot tend to forget this. Descriptivism. So these would be very quickly, I'll be introducing both theoretically as well as the practical applications and the intricacies of it. So we would be learning about them after I complete, and that's the reason you will see the brochure talks about qualitative separately, and then I would be focusing on quantitative research. Okay, and here we would be focusing on certain topics also side by side to understand why quantitative research and what kind of a things, and we would be focusing on both deductive and inferential, I would say, research which is available for the quantitative research. Now, once we have completed with these kind of a thing, in the end, I would be giving you the introduction to some of the popularly used softwares which are available for both qualitative and quantitative research. And hopefully, I would say we would be coming up with future workshop on these separate topics also, depending upon your interest, and discussion with Ayush and discussions between me and Ayush, both of us. We would be again rolling out the workshops for future, and you can join me up whenever it is feasible for all of you to take care of it. And in the end, the publication scope for each one of you, because the team is not a big one right now, around 12, 13. So, each one of you can collaborate with me. And now I'm very happy to introduce and share this information that today some of the journals from Pakistan and Australia, because they have the branches in both the countries, they have selected me as one of the peer reviewer also. So I think, we would be getting some kind of a publications opportunities for all of us who are present in this particular workshop. So, I'll be sharing those things also in the last day, and how we can do it depending upon our studies. So, you have seen that, yes, while discussing with you the agenda, I have also shared what I call it as the timeline of the research. Now, this is the way in which the research should be be progressed further, and you are supposed to understand and go step by step. Now, even if you miss, now you see, majority of the times I see that people are not talking about these things at all. In majority of the research workshops, they are gone. So, when you are doing the research, you have missed that important point. In the same manner, majority of the workshops will be giving you the information about these things. However, are you being given introduction to antecedent, consequent, and proxy variables also? Now, these are the certain things that you will have to understand and go step by step, so that you are able to implement in your own research or the paper publication also side by side. Now, when I come to qualitative, trust me, majority of them are not aware. It is just the superficial knowledge. Some of them have got through books or the journals, and not in reality. Okay, now when I say not in reality, that means that they are not groomed on these particular topics properly. The textbooks which are pertaining to phenomenology or ethnography focus group, what exactly is critical realism, logical positivism, structuralism, you should understand and then apply it in your research work. Now that is what I meant, and you are supposed to understand and proceed further also. Now similarly, coming to the quantitative research, yes, definitely yes. I would say that one should try to understand and then proceed further. Now through these things, you have understood that yes, this is the timeline. Now this is where I would say that the research turns out to be systematic in nature. Now, if you are unable to understand the true meaning of the systematic, everything collapses. But I hope you all know that building has to have that foundation. Now, you have to go step by step. Now, you cannot just jump to the 14th floor and say, okay, I have this as my research. No. So that is the reason why systematic is so important for us, and we need to carry forward and understand this in a proper manner. Now, I have shown you in the organized. Now, while I'm discussing those particular things, you will be seeing how come they are organized and in what manner it really demands your focus and in a planned process to, I would say, to proceed further with the research. Finally, getting the solutions is really important, and that's why finding the answers and proceeding further is also necessary, and that is something which we will see towards the end, whether these answers also are completely given to us, or we are in shortcoming form and we do not get the complete answers. Now that is something again we need to understand. Now here today I'm going to give you what exactly do I mean by questions, and if not today, tomorrow I'll show you, as I was stating, that I have a complete notebook only filled with research questions. Now, for example, if you are traveling, let's say from one place to another place, okay, now in between, if you are a very good observer, then you will start raising the questions. Now for example, I don't know how many of you are interested. However, whenever I find I don't know how many of you are good foodies out here. I love food, and for me, when somebody tells me that in this particular place, let's take up the example of momos right now. Now I find that whenever I'm eating momos, one person tells me that momos at this place is not very good. However, you come to Darjeeling and you will see excellent momos are there. Okay, now similarly, some of you are in Banaras. I found that Banaras is a holy place, and I cannot imagine that. Yes, I found a video wherein that video showcased to me that yes, there is this couple from one of the countries which I'm forgetting. They are the foreign couple, and they had opened up I should say a place in Banaras, I forgot the locality name, where it is very popular joint exclusively for the momos. In the same manner, if you go to Nepal, you will find that they have different varieties of momos themselves, and the way they are giving to us is very different. Now the question arises for me, momos is the same thing. How these momos are different in Darjeeling, how these momos are different in Benares, Nepal and Delhi? So that's a research question for me. Then I thought, okay, now I'm unable to see. I can see the Delhi momos. However, I'm not able to see the momos which are being prepared in Benares or Nepal. So immediately I had to rush to YouTube, and trust me, when I saw those videos, I understood. It is not just in the preparation of the momos, however, the way the momos are served to the, I should say, the person who are coming to relish those momos are also very different. So, you have seen now, the moment I came across the momos, the questions have started off. How come Delhi momos are so different from Nepal or Benares momo? That's the first question. Why? Because I'm curious to know. Now, that is, curiosity rises in the form of the questions. If you're not curious about it, trust me, you are not at the level of the research. So the first thing is that questioning comes only with what I call it as curiosity. You're anxious, you're curious, you're enthusiastic. Why, what, when, how, in what manner? These are the questions that need to come up immediately in your mind. So that is why questions are very important. These are the definitions given for research by Newman: collection of methods and methodologies that researchers apply systematically to produce scientifically based knowledge about the social world. A social world, because we belong to the social world, and the various ways in which these are being taken care of. Methodology is the manner in which we progress further with the research. So there are a lot of things that comes under the methodology. One would be the social organizational context. What does this mean? It means which country, which street, demographics. If you understand the meaning of demographics, age, gender, whether you belong to an urban area or the rural area, whether you are talking about, let's say, society, like if I'm talking about society, whether you belong to a metropolitan city or non-metropolitan city, all those things, whether, are you talking about the tribal culture or non-tribal culture? So, are you talking about multinational companies or non-multinational companies? Are you talking about national banks or the government bank? All these things are the ones that you have got, and they compromise with what we call it as the social organizational context. Then comes the philosophical assumptions. So when I'm talking about the philosophical assumptions, you will see these are the ones that you will be focusing on your theories and the conceptual models when I'll be talking about. Similarly, the qualitative structures, where you are focusing more, whether you focused more on realism, or are you focusing more on positivism, or are you going to focus, your observations are based upon some kind of a description, and that's why it is called as a descriptive studies? Or are you focusing, for example, let's say I have my maid who comes from Bangladesh. Okay, now one day what happened, this lady along with her mother, they came to my house, and the young girl is the one who works at my place as a maid. Now her mother was sitting there, and I was preparing the breakfast, and I'm in that habit that, I give them whatever I have prepared. I want them also to sit and take a cup of coffee, consume that one as well as the breakfast. So the moment I gave to her, this old lady, okay, she started crying. Then I asked her what happened, because I got scared. I did a very pious work, giving her a cup of coffee and the breakfast, that was the dosa, because I'm a South Indian, so I prepared the dosa, so I had to give her that. Now immediately the moment I saw her crying, I was a bit worried, and then she said, no, she calls me Didi, and she said that Didi, mujhe na apna Bangladesh yaad aa gaya. I said, okay. Then I just looked at her and I said, what is the connection between me giving her the breakfast and her remembrance of Bangladesh? Then she started, you know, giving me the flashback stories of her. What was it when Bangladesh had those riots? You know, she was present in Bangladesh and she had experienced as a lady, and she started giving me. Now, you see, what is she doing? She has gone back and she is narrating whatever her experiential knowledge was. Now, the philosophical assumption for me would be based upon the narrative. Narrative is the storytelling. Whatever story she was telling to me, I was able to understand. However, for me as a researcher, the question arises, she is narrating in a language and me, I'm hearing. So are there any gaps between these two things, or are they complete mapping? So you will see that when we have the philosophical assumption coming in terms of interpretivism, you know, this is where my assumption is coming in. That is one example. Doctor, when they're interacting with the patient, so is a nurse interacting with a patient. The way they are lending the ears to the patient, you see, the doctors, they are giving you the importance, or they are working on the philosophical assumption of what we call it as descriptivism, you know, because the entire description is there, and then they're taking care. So, you know, these are the important things that we need to understand and proceed further. Ethical principles, we will see when we will come to the level of the publication. What are the ethical principles? Even while doing the research, you need to be very honest. Okay, if the person was crying, you have to mention. If there is a gap over there and you were not able to get the proper support, for example, you went to a bank to take an interview from the manager does not you know, support you, and he says, sorry, I cannot give you the interview at this moment. So you have to mention it, that yes, I went on so and so date at so and so time, the manager was not free, he was irate and he refused, and these are the consequences of it. You are supposed, no, that is what we call it as honesty, transparency in your research level, and these are the ethical principles. I mean, ethical principles are quite a lot, and depending upon the timeline where you are in, you are supposed to take care. For example, when you're talking about the variables, you're talking about the 4 variables. However, if your research is based on causation policies, okay, then are you talking about antecedent variables and consequent variables also? Without mentioning them, how can you proceed further? You cannot. So, you know, you need to be very honest, and even in your analysis, you know, sometimes when a student is in a rush to complete the PhD, let's say after 3 years, the scholar comes and asks the guide, can I manipulate the data? You cannot, because you know, ultimately you're doing your thesis. If you manipulate, it will be caught. So, you know, these are the things that you have to understand in the method. Now, defining, we have already seen that there are certain protocols, and you will have to carry forward these things, and tomorrow I'll be explaining to you why conduct research is, again, you will see that you know, in scriptures they say that you know, if you want to lead an eternal life, it is because you testify in the sense that you give me, in reality, you show it to me taking up a project of yours, and then you proceed further. So these are some of it that you're talking, that is reason equals to the purpose for which you are conducting or going ahead with your research. And then here, this is what we say: to create new knowledge, or and significantly add to the existing literature. Now, this is why we go ahead ultimately and do the research. This is another definition for research methodology, talking about the types of research. Now, apart from the qualitative and quantitative, there are the other terminologies also that has been given to us, like basic research, applied research, longitudinal, cross-sectional. I did not complete the list out here. Qualitative, descriptive, classification research. So quite quite a lot of them are there. And okay, here they are: comparative, explorative, explanatory, causal, theory testing, theory building, action research, investigative research. Then we have got what we call it as empirical research. So all these research are available to us. Now here, when we talk about the quantitative research, you should understand that it is based on the methodological principles of positivism and neo. Now I did not, so I'm not going to focus more upon these two. When I come over on the third day, I would be giving you the definitions of these two terminologies, and we will see why they are important when we come to the quantitative. And it adheres to the standards of the strict research design. You need to adopt the research design very carefully for your research, then you can proceed further. And the it is not just the analysis, however, I would say statistical technique and tool, both of them are really important, and how to use them in any kind of a quantitative research. Now this is the basic research in the beginning that we have to take care, and that is purpose of gaining knowledge, advanced understanding about the social world, helping, supporting, or rejecting existing hypotheses or theories. And when I will be doing the theoretical development and building, you will be seeing this kind of a thing. Now that is what we call it as the basic research. Then we have got this one, applied research. In order to give you the rather than entering into the intricacies of it, I can only tell you right now is that applied research is where you become a consultant. You go to the company, or the company approaches you, they identify, select the questions, and they ask you, can you please resolve them? And it can be from HR, logistics, supply chain, operations, IT department, it can be the team departments, so any kind of a problem, you can go ahead and you can, with the help of the applied research, though nowadays I'm seeing that applied researchers are also a different one, and they help you in building or coming up with new policies. Okay, now right now, like COVID-19, if you will see in this pandemic time, I'm seeing that so many suicides are taking place. You see, I'm dedicated 2020 year as the year of dead. Now this is really, I'm seeing that there's so many deaths are taking place, maybe due to COVID-19 or pandemic, you can say, or the suicides, the number of suicides which are taking place on a daily basis due to XYZ reason. Now maybe, papers, publications are flashing the number of deaths or the suicides of the popular individuals. However, the common society also must be going through, and we are unable to understand the reason where it can be the economic factors, monetary factors, financial problems, whatever they are. Many of us are losing the jobs. We do not know where to go, how to earn, how to take care. I mean, XYZ. So these are all wherein the new policies are coming in. Why do you think that should be one of the questions? Why did our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji came up with the new educational policies? Now, you see, they were not educational something. They were educational policies. Why did he feel these policies should be stayed? If you look at the startups, if you look at the entrepreneurial projects right now, you will see that all those studies which we focused upon earlier had to be collapsed. They are no more working, and new developments are taking place. So, you have a lot of policies changing in, a lot of social impact studies coming in, new theories for feminism, how the children are being taken care of, what kind of designing is taking place in terms of the fashion industry. You will see. And are you just focusing on human beings, or are you even, I would say, inculcating or incorporating the environment, the animals? And if you look at the pet animals, non-pet animals, what is it taking place, new entertainment areas. Now, you see, all these things are belonging to what I call it as the applied research. Similarly, longitudinal research, usually people think that, okay, longitudinal will be for time-based, time TBM series or panel data series. I would say, who told you that? If you are able to focus on management topics wherein you are able to combine time as well as something, especially film studies, theatrical studies, poetic studies, visual art studies, digital art studies, you see, they can also come fall under what we call it as the longitudinal research. And you can proceed further to understand. Sectional research is the most common one, and I find majority of us falling under this category, and they go ahead and they take care. Now qualitative is something which I'm going to focus more, and we will definitely try to understand and go further into these studies also. Descriptive, I told you that right now descriptivism and interpretivism is focusing more towards the medicinal, healthcare, psychological, psychiatric, I would say even some of these what do you call, the medical studies, they are focusing on descriptive research. However, the shift has come even towards the management, commerce, financial, economic studies also, and we will see how to understand these things side by side. Now classification research depends upon the differences. You can even say differentiating research, different names are there. For example, Pakistan, India, whether pandemic is same for Pakistan and India. Similarly, go to European countries, whether pandemic studies are same. Like Lebanon, we all know what happened at Lebanon right now. So the kind of the exposure they have got, and the kind of the exposure what had happened at Kerala last night, the aircraft fire in that. Now, can you see some similarities, and can we do, or are you able to see only the differences? Now, you see, you will have to understand. And similarly, the suicidal cases. Now, you see, Disha Salian's suicide case, Sushant Rajput suicide, and then we had this third person, I'm forgetting his name, Amit or Anil Sharma, the third person. Now, can you see the differences? Are you able to see the similarities also? Now, you see, that falls under the category of classification research, and you can do a lot of it. And you can compare it with the kind of the suicides all three of them have done, whether they can be same, different in our own country. Compare it with Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, or China, Japan, any other country. So you are able to go ahead. Comparative, yes, similarities, differences also you can carry. Exploratory research, we'll be talking more about it. And this is the, remember, we do this research when your study has been done for the first time. So, at that time we talk about exploratory, and we will be focusing on this. Explanatory, this also is very popular one. And, when we are building, testing, revising a theory, we focus on explanatory. And this is again a common one, and I'll be focusing on this. Causal research is more popular again in medicine, alternative medicine, like Reiki, then meditation, for example, if you are a meditating teacher, okay, who's focusing on meditation, now you will see the patient or the individual who's taking up the meditation course or is enrolled with you, how the person was before the meditation, how the meditation helped the person, and did you perceive any changes? Now in Reiki, because even I do Reiki, and being one of the grandmasters of the Reiki, I have seen that there are certain changes when the person comes before taking the Reiki course, and what happens after they take the Reiki course, and in hospitals, doctors are very much interested to go ahead, and in majority of the international hospitals, you will see that doctors are, I should say, introduced or encouraged to use these techniques also side by side. Similarly, astrological things, tarot readings, all those things also are focused on more on the causal research. Theory testing, we will be doing this one in depth. Theory building, as I said, we'll be focusing. Action research is something wherein you are not only more interested in policy making, however, to introduce certain changes in the country. For example, the new educational policy. Now, do you think that Narendra Modi ji was able to do just in one day? No, I'm pretty sure he was working on this project for at least 1 year or maybe 6 months. I do not know. I never asked him because he himself has a very strong research team with him, you know, and they help him out and they are taking care of it. So, you know, if you hear his, what do you call, speeches, you would see that, yes, now he is more into the action research and he is able to introduce quite a lot of things for us. Similarly, these are the important takeaways, though we are calling them as messages. I would say that these are the takeaways wherein a person is able to enter into research and is able to create the enthusiasm as a teacher, as a faculty, as a student also. I would say that, you know, as a teacher, it is my duty that, yes, when I'm teaching, I encourage my students to raise the questions, which means that they are moving towards something. And I'm pretty sure that, yes, that is the direction line where they are moving in. Similarly, as a student, also when I'm reading a paper or I'm attending a lecture, I'm supposed to raise the question. If I'm not raising or not interested in raising the question, that means that I'm not a good student. I'm not interested into research at all. And, you know, towards some contribution that you're taking care towards the society. You know, and I'll show you with the help of the examples from tomorrow onwards as to how the problem of taken from the research is going to do something good to the society. Like, for example, what Arnab Goswami is doing right now. He is known to be an investigative journalist. Why do you think he's being called as that? Reason, he is interested. And if you look or observe the way he is right now fighting for the case for Sushant Singh, you will see, Pushta hai Bharat. See, that's a question he's raising. Now, that is what we call it as the investigative, and then he's taking care of it. So you go to any domain of the world, you will see that taking care, I would say, giving importance to the research questions is what culminates into something very useful, and, you know, it can be very good for each one of us. So I think this is something that I wanted to share with each one of you before I can go further into the depth of the philosophy and understand more about certain things. And we will be in the coming days, definitely, yes, you will see more and more important things which are present for us. So I think I'm going to stop here from my side and open the floor for certain questions so that we are able to, you know, understand, and there is some kind of an interaction between all of us together. So yes, I open the floor for the questions. Yes, I see that there are 12 of you. In case anybody would like to proceed further and ask the questions, it would be wonderful. No questions?
Hello.
Yeah, yes, Favidi, you can ask me a question.
Yeah.
Definitely, yes. Anubha, you are asking me, can we write the population of the area from Aadhaar sourced reports. Why not, ma'am? You can. If you the Aadhaar sourced reports would be the secondary one, correct, for you. Now you see, when you are talking about the population, there would be two ways in which I have to understand the word population. And if you can wait till Tuesday, I would be able to explain to you, you know, how to understand when you are using the secondary sources, you know, and go further for the depiction of the population. Because I hope these are the secondary sources, and I will definitely highlight it on that day, ma'am. And you are supposed to, you know, if I introduce you to systematic reviews, you will see that yes, when you are doing, and systematic reviews are for the secondary sources only, for example, like reports, and how to take out the population of an area, how to understand that, and how to include it in your research will be showcased to you, so you can understand it after I complete with the systematic reviews, ma'am. Yes, Favali, you wanted to ask me a question?
Yes, madam. I want to ask you one questions that I have got from you about the type of research that you said it is 14, and now I'm getting confused about how about the methodology, like the last time when I have learned for my coursework is about the mixed method. The mixed method is like the mix between the qualitative and how to say it is
Can you speak a
qualitative and
bit louder,
quantitative,
Favali?
right?
Your voice is very low, or just key the words here so that I'm able to read it and I can answer you correctly. Your voice is very low.
Okay. Okay. So I'm going to write.
Yes, just key the words, type the word so that it is easier for me to understand you completely and answer you accordingly. Yes, anybody else? Nandini, no questions today? Nandini is there, Roshan is there, Hani ma'am is there, Sadbir is there, Amita, Saraswati, then Rajendra sir is also there.
Nandini, you can go ahead. Please go ahead.
Hanji?
मैम मैम
Yeah,
मैम मेरा
Ayush?
एक प्रश्न है मैम रोशन सिंह
हाँ please बोलिए मैम ये लोग सब में पूरा सवाल पूछने के लिए so
Okay, now
go
here
ahead please.
I can see
Even Nandini is raising her hand. He also can ask.
on the chat box, I'm able to see Sadbir is saying, can research be explanatory, exploratory, and descriptive all the time? You see, that this makes your project a very vast one. Now you are a research, of course, yes, you can see explanatory is explaining and then taking care of it. Exploratory would be wherein for the first time. So the sequence in which you have to keep these things will be different. First, it would be exploratory. After exploratory, you can go with the explanatory, and then comes the descriptive part of it. Descriptive, you are going to describe whatever the whole thing. Why don't you wait, let me complete it, giving you the complete information about these techniques. You can combine them and you can do it. For example, explore descriptive or descriptive exploratory search. You can write it down and you are most welcome to do it. There's nothing wrong to that. Yes, Nandini, you can key the word, connect me to the audio, please. It is, why, what happened? Just see what is wrong with her. I think she has some problem with her audio. So maybe one of you can help her out, because I don't have the rights to do that.
Gokul, can you unmute her if you have muted her?
Nandini, otherwise you can type it out here. Favadi, I'm waiting for your message. I haven't yet received it.
Roshan was asking something. Roshan, you can ask
Sadbir,
again,
I
right?
hope I've been able to answer your question. Saraswati, you wanted to say something. Yeah, please. I cannot see your question. Honey, okay, no question. Okay, fine. Thank you. Saraswati, you did not say anything. You wanted to say MA, so I don't know what does MA mean. Nandini, I think you can
Nandini, you need
join
to,
back or
yeah,
you can chat.
yeah, and
Can
Nandini, you
I
can need to
use a
check your phone itself.
quantitative data in literature? Of course, yes. Who told you you cannot use Saraswati? You can use it. You see, let me understand you. When you are saying, can I use quantitative data in literature? Does that mean that you want to do a literature review and then present a quantitative data in it? Is that what you're asking me? If you are comparing and if you feel that yes, quantitative data is going to be useful in writing the review of literature, why not? Who stopped you? You can. Because you see, in review of literature, actually we are focusing on the gaps, number one, Saraswati. Number two, we are even focusing on what I call it as to see the relationship between the variables. Okay, that is the main purpose of doing the review of literature. Now, if I have to focus on looking at the relationship between the variables, obviously it has to be based upon the quantitative analysis which has already been done in the previous literature, and the way they have concluded it is what I'm going to focus upon. Farbi, is mixed method a kind of research type, or is it another term of methodology of research? Now, you see, Favidi, mixed method is a methodology of research wherein we are going to combine both qualitative and quantitative analysis. We focus either on phenomenology, or I can say post-structuralism or modernism, or whatever philosophical assumptions we have got under the qualitative analysis or the research, and we are going to focus, combine it with quantitative analysis or the research and come to a concrete conclusion. That is what is a mixed method. And I'll be, after I complete with the qualitative research and quantitative research, I'll be focusing on, what exactly we mean by mixed methods or the grounded theories and all. Those things would be showcased to you more. Okay, so you need to wait till I complete with the qualitative and quantitative research part. Okay, and now Sadbir is asking me, I hope Favadi, this answers your question. Can we combine qualitative, quantitative in single research and appreciate it in India? Yes, Sadbir, and I'm going to showcase to you, you can use phenomenology and using Atlas TI, you can come up to the correlation value, and immediately you can go ahead, to do a correlation, regression, SEM modeling. You can do it very nicely. Of course, yes. So you need to wait till I complete with the qualitative analysis research part of it, and I'll be showcasing to you how to do it, and you can carry forward with that one. Okay, so you just wait till the day I complete with that. And Anubha is asking me, ma'am, can we add the e-views data analysis in review of literature in thesis? See, e-views is a software, Anubha, that we are using in order to, I should say, analyze time series data or the panel data. Okay, now if you are doing a review of literature, let's say about various things, eViews also has the one more technique that I have to show it to you is bibliometric analysis. And yes, you are most welcome, and you can showcase how the prior studies are being combined together and what kind of analysis can be done and how you can showcase that output in the review of literature. Yes, you can showcase it in the thesis towards the end of the review of literature or in the beginning of the bibliometric analysis, wherein you are making a choice. In fact, even doing the systematic, I'll be showcasing to you one of the techniques wherein systematic reviews, you can use it through in vivo, e-views, and the conclusions which are available, you can show it in review of literature. Definitely, yes, you can take care of it also side by side. Okay, now next question is, ma'am, there is some writing issue. Now, where can one use field survey? Now, you see, surveys, questionnaires, these are all are being used in management. Now, I don't know, what do you mean by saying where can one use? You know, wherever you are doing some cross-sectional studies, you would be using survey or the questionnaire. Methodology, and we will see what are the various methodologies which are available to us to proceed further for the research once I complete with the different kind of reviews. Monday I'll be completing. On Tuesday you will get your answer on this. Okay, so I think yes, you have a question. Yeah, please. Now let me see, you have a question. Ma'am, I had a question about 1 second, let me go about. Yes, I can see I have a question. If we are presenting a report or summary of a particular field of research, can we add case studies in there? Of course, yes. Who stopped you? Case studies, you see, independently you can do it, or if you are preparing a report, you can use a case study. Even if you are writing an executive summary through case study, you can do that. Nobody can stop you with that. Case study is a qualitative technique, I should say, which is used heavily and largely, number one. Number two, it is the most common method to be used, especially towards the research area, and you can publish it very nicely also. So I think that answers your answer. And let me just see if I can just see your this thing. Is it possible for one thesis includes various of research types like qualitative, quantitative action? Favadi, qualitative, quantitative, definitely yes, you can in your research methodology, depending upon your objectives, you can make these studies, you can incorporate and you can use them. As I said, mixed method is a combination of qualitative and quantitative, and in case you want to focus on quantitative and action, you can, and you will see later on when I'll show you while you are doing the quantitative, you know, how to carry forward and how to take care also about these things. I hope that answers your question. How can I, what's the methodological way to write? You see, this is not a case writing workshop, so I may not be able to, however, to give you a quick answer. You will have to identify a company, let's say Airtel company of Banaras, and then you can write let's say some problem from Airtel and in Banaras. You can pick up and you can write it down. Though case studies are very different for scholars, they are very different for publishing purposes, they are very different for teaching purposes also. So, you know, writing a case study can be written after watching a movie also, side by side. So how to write? Definitely yes, there are certain ways in which, in fact, case study is a method of sharing a story. It is a story building technique for me, and you know, I need to identify who the hero is, who the heroine is, time, everything is present for us, and then we can carry forward with writing a case study also. It's in fact a complete one-day exercise which we take up, and we usually do it, you know, for the sake of the teachers or for the scholars. So maybe later on I'll be showcasing to you through Ayush. Let's see when we can organize a workshop exclusively on the case studies, and I will definitely focus on this one, and I'll save this particular chat so that we are able to know about it. Now, is it necessary to include hypotheses in theses? Of course, yes. Without your, no. Okay, now you see, hypotheses, objectives, they are very different. Okay, now hypotheses are meant for inferential research. Now, if you are doing a research wherein you have got cause and effect, and if you have got, what we call it as the inferential studies are there, at that time, hypothesis is coming up. So it is not necessary that hypothesis has to be present in your studies. However, objectives are compulsory. And if you are focusing on inferential studies, then it is compulsory to include hypotheses in your research. And this goes for Amita Patania. This is the answer for your question. And there is one more question from her. Ma'am, I mean whether it is must to have, you see, again, a hypothesis comes in only when we have got what we call it as the inferential studies. Okay, and if you do not based on the inferential studies, then there is no need for your hypothesis. However, in the absence of the hypothesis, objectives are universal. Okay, remember, and I'll tell you, don't worry, what hypotheses are, when I must incorporate the hypotheses, when I cannot incorporate hypotheses, I'll be sharing it in one of my slides also. Okay, Amita, so just wait till maybe tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Can we only go with null hypotheses, or is it compulsory to include? Anubha, see, if you are taking up null hypotheses, okay, it means that you want to either reject the identified hypotheses, or you want to go ahead with the other thing which you get as an output after doing the analysis. So you see, if you are doing the inferential studies, number one, null hypotheses will be there, and after that, whatever the results are after the analysis, we would be focusing. I do not like to use the word alternatively. Majority of the mentors of mine who have taught me and groomed me for this particular inferential, including some of the people like Andy Field, who is a very good friend of mine, Jim Frost, David McKinney, all these people, they have made it, and even James Gaskin, sir, even they also made me very clear that yes, when you are using, even how to make it, null hypothesis rejected, null hypothesis approved, null hypothesis accepted, what are the various ways in which we can write it absolutely correctly is one more agenda of mine, and I'll be taking care of this when I'll be introducing the quantitative research to all of you. So Anuba, I need you to wait till that time, and you can remember these questions also side by side. And next question is Amita Patania. Ma'am, I mean whether it is must to have hypothesis. See, your research, if it is based on inferences, I hope you understand, Amita, when I'm talking about inferential research, that is the time when you will introduce the word hypothesis. Otherwise, you will not use the word hypothesis at all in your research. Okay. And next question is again by Nandini. Okay, ma'am, I want to know that I'm in a village this time, and I noticed that the things, and I want to research on that. But I cannot survey in the village with the questionnaire. What should I do? Sorry, there is something issue. Okay, that's fine. You need not ask me sorry or apologize. See, if you are in a village and you have noticed something, you have observed, if you can wait tomorrow, because tomorrow I'll be showcasing what observations are, how observations are associated with the theory building, theory construction, and testing. Number two, number three, the conceptual modeling. You will get your answers through that. So kindly wait till tomorrow, Nandini. However, even if you are noticing, I would appreciate, just don't notice. I want you to observe and make a note of all those things in a notebook or in a sheet of a paper, and how to proceed further with the further things I'll be explaining. But I cannot survey in the village. Why you cannot survey in the village? If not okay, now this is again a process. Right now I'll show it to you. Instead of giving a questionnaire to them, how to proceed further through qualitative research, I will showcase, and then you learn from me and you can proceed further. Okay, so I think Any other question from anybody else?
Ma'am, Roshan wanted to ask, can we use survey report in qualitative research?
Can you use?
Can we use a survey report to qualitative research?
Of course, yes. We will see
Okay,
how to
Roshan.
design even survey sheets for qualitative, how they are differently designed in quantitative research. Of course, yes, we are going to see those things also, and you will find it and how to go ahead. You see, when we are talking about the structured, unstructured interviews, in the same manner, when surveys are there, how to focus upon structured, what do you call, surveys and unstructured one in qualitative as well as quantitative, both. And I'll be showcasing to all of you those things also, and we can
Ma'am,
proceed.
when you have started the introduction part of research, so you were discussing the research questions and research objectives.
What is the difference? Okay,
So,
now
and
you see,
and you said,
what?
yeah, I'm adding on to it, ma'am.
You wanted to know the difference between research questions and research objectives, right? That is what. Now, you see,
No,
that is what you're asking me, Ayush?
yeah, that also you can explain, but the question I would like to add on a few things on same. Once we form a research, how to form a research question, as you said, right, when we go around and we notice something around ourselves. So something is there
Okay.
which may attract our attention. So how
Right.
to form research questions, you can go to a systematic form of research.
Right. Now you see, I'm writing something in the chat box. Always remember that there are a lot of differences between research questions, then research objectives. Third one is what I call it as research queries. These three things are available for us. Now, research queries will be when you are reading a textbook, whatever the textbook is, and when you read it, really you get stuck up, and there is a question: why is it like this only taking place? Why not in this manner? Now, if that is where it is, it would be called as a research query. However, these are the queries which takes place in the classrooms, whether you are a BA, MA, MPhil or PhD, or even academician also. However, the moment you come to the level of the research, I'm talking about the moment you complete with your post-graduation level, research questions would be, something which really instigates you, something which really disturbs your mind, and you are too curious to know about it as to why this thing is happening, what it is taking place. And you start off with this. For example, right now is the pandemic time. Now, one question with all of us should come up is that why social distancing is so important in pandemic times, or COVID, or you can say during pandemic or COVID-19 times. I'm just making it absolutely simple times. If this can be one of the question for me when I see out here. Now, why social distancing is so important? Now, so next question will immediately can rise in what must be done to do what must be done to keep the social distancing. This can be another question. Now, the moment you will see now in a house, now the question can be, can there be a social distancing at homes wherein it is in a family of, let's say, 10 members, or in a joint family? We have joint families, and the joint families comprises of, let's say, around more than 5 individuals: dada, dadi ji, husband, wife, उनके 2 बच्चे, कितने हो गए? 6. So can I really maintain the social distance? You see, these are the questions that you need to really think about and carry on. And once these questions have raised, then you go, as a researcher, you start off observing. So you see, tomorrow we will see what is the role of the observations. You know, you visit to your neighbor's house, or you start observing in your own family. And do you think that, yes, you are not, able to catch that particular disease? Are you able to stay healthily? Are you able to stay safe for yourself? Are masks so much important? So that is where the observations are coming in. Now, observations you have taken care of. Now come back and see what the theory is telling you. Okay, social distancing, then 2 things are there: health consciousness, and what exactly are you taking care of it. And we will see various models as to how those things are coming in and how to proceed further in order to know more about them. So this is where the questions at the beginning of anything is arising. And to come up, if you have completed what I call it as ROL, which is review of literature, if you have completed over there, okay, then you set forth of what we call it as objectives of yours, depending upon the gaps, depending upon the missing links in the reviews that you have done. Once you have identified, you can go ahead, you can set forth your objectives, and then we come up with what I call it as the research objectives. So research objectives, remember, first would be the research queries, second would be research questions, third would be the research objectives. Tomorrow, once the observation, that is my agenda, observations, and then we will be focusing on these 3 things also together, and immediately I would be entering into theory building, theory focusing, those things, and then we will step further into our kind of things. Okay, so this is how I would like to go ahead and answer to your question that yes, there are differences and one has to understand and make it absolutely clear. And given this particular timeline which I have shared today, we would see more and more importance about what exactly things are being done and how to carry forward also side by side. Okay.
Ma'am, this is my last question. For any kind of research, qualitative or quantitative, do we need to have a research questions?
Yes.
We should have, right? We
The,
should have.
see, as I told you at the beginning itself only, more than the research question, reason, these are the characteristic features. Curious, being anxious, number 1, then something disturbs you, that you are not able to understand that yes, this is what is happening, and how can that be possible at all. You see, if that is disturbing you, you are at the research level. Now that, or something really you're curious to know more. Okay, this is what is taking place. Now what will happen if I don't do this? Children are the best researchers. Unke paas jo questions hote hain na, you should always ask them. Now there is no end for them to question. They continuously, ऐसा क्यों होता है, ये क्यों होता है, इसके बाद क्या होगा, इससे पहले क्यों नहीं हुआ, आपने ऐसा क्यों नहीं किया, ये ऐसा नहीं हो सकता क्या, इसमें ऐसा हो सकता है क्या, अगर मैं ये करूं तो क्या होगा. Now you see, these are all the curious things that we are looking forward in the research. So I always say that curiosity is the beginning of the research. If you are anxious about something, more to know about something, like if I don't know how many of you are science students. Aapne in your 10th standard, one of the theories in physics, I'm forgetting, उसको क्या बोलते हैं, the technical word I'm forgetting, वो कहते हैं, like my physics lab person, he came and he told me, some of my classmates also, Ramni तुमको ये दिखाई नहीं दिया. मैंने कहा क्या दिखना है मेरे को, उसमें बताओ तो सही। पानी के ऊपर एक पतली सी लेयर बनती है जिसको जैसे हम दूध का मलाई कहते हैं, राइट आयुष? इन द सेम मैनर पानी
Yes,
के
ma'am.
ऊपर भी एक लेयर बन जाती है डस्ट पार्टिकल्स की। नाउ यू हैव एन इंस्ट्रूमेंट which helps you to recognize that particular layer, and then you go ahead and you measure that one. Now मुझसे पूछा गया आपको वो लेयर नहीं दिख रहा है, आपको वो मलाई की लेयर नहीं दिख रही है पानी के ऊपर। Now for me मलाई की लेयर is what? दूध का मलाई। I have never heard पानी की मलाई, आपने कभी सुना है? मैंने तो नहीं सुना। तो जब मेरे को ये बोला गया, I asked my friend, क्या तुमको दिख रहा है ये मलाई की लेयर? So then she made me understand. Ramni is talking about exactly the layer which is formed on milk. He's talking about the same layer. The question arises, कि क्या ये सही word use किया था मैंने? So I was more curious to know about it. कि ये हो कैसे रहा है, क्यों हो रहा है, किस लिए हो रहा है, that provokes you to go ahead and learn more about it. Now for example, अभी सब लोग कहते हैं मेरे को बनारस की टमाटर की चाट बहुत अच्छी होती है। Now, I have never tasted it. अब जब तक मैं टेस्ट नहीं करूंगी मेरे मन में ना वो बातें आती रहेंगी कि उसका वो टेस्ट कैसे होगा, क्या वो खट्टा होगा, क्या वो मीठा होगा, क्या वो मेरे को एक प्लेट में जो देते हैं वो मेरे लिए काफी है, क्या वो घर पे बन सकता है, तो क्या वो बाहर वाला इसी के जैसे ही रहेगा कि नहीं। You see, I'm curious to know. So those are the questions that would really help me to go further and understand it. Now, like I'm very fond of momos. ओके अगर मुझसे किसी ने मुझसे बोला दैट यस यू गो टू बनारस, बनारस में ये फॉरेन कपल है जिन्होंने खोला है वहां पे, एंड यू टेस्ट देम। सिमिलरली पीपल हु कम फ्रॉम दार्जिलिंग दे टेल मी नो रामिनी यू कम टू दार्जिलिंग एंड यू टेस्ट। अच्छा ये तो कुछ भी नहीं है। नाउ पीपल टेल मी पहाड़ों पे जो मैगी नूडल्स बनती है दैट इज मोर टेस्टियर दैन द वन दैट इज मेड एट होम। Now, for me, again, that is another question कि ये कैसे हो सकता है? How is that possible at all? Maggi noodles, Maggi noodles ही है। So, I'm just giving you the example. Similarly, can you say that yes, in the hotel industry, if I'm coming from the Department of Management, we talk about customer loyalties. So, can I be a completely customer, give my customer loyalty to Taj hotels or Meridian hotels, or should I I love dharmshalas also. So, can I become a customer so loyal to one particular dharmshala? So, those are the questions that we are looking for. Or if leadership is there, is it necessary that whatever the literature has given to me earlier about the leadership qualities, they are the only ones, or do we have other kinds of leaders also who are available? So, being curious, anxious, something disturbing you mentally, or I would say, you're not happy with it. These are the signs of proceeding further into the research realm. You cannot keep yourself full stop and say, okay, I don't have any research questions. Without research questions, it is impossible.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Any more questions from anybody? Okay, so I guess no. So I wholeheartedly thank Ramni ma'am for giving out 2 hours approximately and presenting such a wonderful lecture on wonderful presentation and wonderful description of the research methodologies and different kinds of qualitative, quantitative research and everything else. And I thank everybody of the participants also to patiently listen, to help cooperate and help us in conducting smoothly the proceedings of this workshop. So hereby, this is the first day of our workshop. Hope everybody has liked it, and a special thanks to Ramni ma'am and our host Ayush sir. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a nice day ahead.
And I have a question to the organizer. Tomorrow it is 5:30 or 6 o'clock?
Ma'am, it will be on
Ma'am?
6. We have made it to 5:30 just because people should join before the session gets started.
Okay, so
So it will be
otherwise
from
it is
6 to 8
from
only.
6 o'clock, right? So tomorrow I
Yeah,
would
it
be
will
there
be.
because again I have the tomorrow another workshop with the Pakistani University. So I will be joining up by 5:45 tomorrow. Okay, so in case some of you have got the some questions, they can start interacting with me also side by side. Okay, Ayush? All right.
Yeah, yeah. That
Okay,
will
Thank
be
you.
ma'am.
fine.
Thanks a lot. And I
Thank
think
you, ma'am.
recording is there, so you can also share it. And let's see, tomorrow I'll be sharing some material which can be mailed across to all the participants also. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Sure.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.